Viewers, the latest news about Ethiopia, Amhara, Afar, and Tigray region is that, according to the latest reports, Swedish radio has, as one of the few media, met one of the main actors in the Ethiopian civil war, Oromo Liberation Army. Because the Oromo Liberation Army, together with Tigrayan armed forces, claim that they will soon surround the capital Addis Ababa, which could lead to Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed being forced out of power and the entire political landscape being redrawn. Addis Ababa is increasingly isolated, and Abiy Ahmed has now decided to head to the front line. Oromo Liberation Army's commander describes Abe as a dying horse kicking for the last time. It is said by Sovargis radio analyst, we are a bit across the Kenyan border into southern Ethiopia. It is hot, dry, and mountainous. In the background are dromedary rovers. Here I meet a force of young soldiers from the armed group Oromo Liberation Army. Some years ago, a relatively unknown gorilla, now one of the main actors in the Ethiopian drama. Maybe they are hundreds. Most were former university students, some from high school, who joined here to fight the federal government and Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed, and for what they see as an oppression of Oromos, Ethiopia's largest population. Sure, it is a bit of a show here, far from the front line, but just a few weeks ago, most people here were involved in battles further north. Here they now get a much needed but short rest. One of them is Galmo, 22-year-old. She joined the armed struggle as a teenager. I am not afraid of fighting, she explains. I am determined to free the Oromo people. I am not afraid. I fight against the oppression that Oromos lived under. That is what drives me, to live a free life where the rights of Oromos are taken advantage of. Viewers, the Oromo warriors show their strength with a march and a short maneuver through the bushes. They wear simple uniforms, wear their equipment in shawls around their upper bodies, and wear only sandals in the barren landscape. The weapons are automatic rifles and machine guns, and not much more. Yet here, and thousands of other in the Oromo Liberation Army, the Federal Ethiopian Army has fallen on to its knees. They have now surrounded Addis Ababa from three directions: from the west, south, and southeast. In the northeast, they are acting together with the Tigray Defense Force, which may soon cut off the capital from the strategic road leading to the port city of neighboring Djibouti. Viewers, Jal Gamach's boy is the second highest commander of the Oromo Liberation Army. For 20 years, he has been part of the armed force, and now it may be nearing an end. He says, he says that Addis Ababa, or Finfine, as the city is called in Oromo, will fall soon, no matter how much the federal Ethiopian army tries to resist. We are constantly approaching the capital together with the Tigray Defense Force. He says the main challenges have been the difficulties for communication because the murderous regime in Addis Ababa, as he puts it, does not want to the abuses to be known in the outside world. They have shut down the internet and mobile network. Despite that, we are steadily moving forward, he says. The Ethiopian government has been harshly criticized for almost completely isolating the Tigray defense in Tigray region, preventing emergency aid from entering and allowing looting and mass rapes. Hundreds of thousands are threatened with starvation there now. But all parties to this conflict are accused of abusing the civilian population, both the Ethiopian army, Tigray Defense Force, and the Oromo Liberation Army. However, this is something that is rejected by all parties. It is clear, however, that hatred and violence have led some observers to believe that reconciliation is possible between the second largest group of Amharians on the one hand and Romos and Tigrays on the other. Because former Peace Prize literature and Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed has long been criticized for his harsh rhetoric, in which he specifically accused Tigers of all guilt in the conflict. Several of his posts on social media have therefore been removed because they were considered to drive ethnic hatred. As the one who can now try to get out of Addis Ababa, Abiy Ahmed decided to go to the front, which some sees as a sign of desperation. So did the second in command of the Roma Liberation Army. It's like one last kick from a dying horse, says Master Jal Gamachi's boy. This is a way for him to be brave in the end. Even if he were not killed on the battlefield, this is a way for him to show some form of pride before he is ousted from power. And the question is that, but if now the Tigray Defense Force and the Romo Liberation Army take over Addis Ababa and get rid of Abiy Ahmed, what happens then? He said, our goal is to liberate the Oromo people, but when all this is over, it is up to Oromos to vote for themselves about how they want to see their future and what the relations with the other groups should look like. The Ethiopian government has not defended our rights. That is what has driven us to this armed struggle, he says. But this may be decided later. While the commander expressed himself a little courteously, there is no doubt about the young guerrilla warrior Gilamo. Our long struggle is soon over. He says, I see a bright future for our people. Because on the other hand, today, in a statement, Tigray People's Liberation Front spokesman Gatachew Reda said that while the desperados led by Abiy Ahmed are doing everything to have the world take their circus, freakle, war, games and all seriously, the CENTCOM of the government of Tigray has made a sober assessment of the situation on the ground and made decisions regarding the next phase of our strategic offensive. We are not after made for TV freak shows, nor are going to settle for anything less than the fullest possible safety and security of our people, and we are almost there. And the minister claimed that the US embassy is fueling tensions by creating fears through issuing of security alerts. The embassy had warned US citizens to leave the Horn state over the risk of escalation violences as the Tigray People's Liberation Front advances to the capital Addis Ababa. Because an Ethiopian prime minister has thrust himself in the eye of controversy after labeling Washington's mission in Addis Ababa as a terrorist that should leave the country. Mr. Ayob Tolina, Ethiopia's state minister for finance, accuses the US embassy in Addis Ababa for provoking violence and accelerating terrorism. In a Facebook post, he claimed that the US embassy is fueling tensions by creating fears through issuing of security alerts. So viewers, so far the latest update. For more latest update, please subscribe channel. Thanks for watching.